But instead of reading off a bunch of statistics that you might not already know, that last year more preschoolers died from guns than police officers, or that gunshot wounds are the second leading cause of death for all people in the U.S. ages 10 to 34.
Exit Wounds is Steven Seagal's 12th studio movie, and I would have never guessed this dude had 12 original characters to create. But the man is a genius and a chameleon, and Exit Wounds is the last of the Seagal-led theatrical releases. It is mostly straight-to-video shit after this. Exit Wounds was released in 2001, and without checking, I'm gonna guess it was the worst thing that happened that year. And Exit Wounds takes place in the Toronto district of Detroit, and the vice president is giving a speech about gun violence, and Seagal saunters in incredibly late. Actually, I don't know if that is considered a saunter. I don't think they have a word for what goes on with his body when he moves in a bipedal fashion, and the vice president is played by actor Christopher Lawford, and most of you know him as the guy running for mayor in Blank Man. And I was like, you know what, this guy plays the part of a politician really well. Let me check out his background. Well, his full name is Christopher Kennedy Lawford, and he is literally JFK's nephew. This dude probably hung out with Maria Shriver in the summer. Hell, he most likely passed Arnold Schwarzenegger the potatoes at Thanksgiving one year. And it is almost a certainty that he had to blow into a breathalyzer to unlock his Uncle Teddy's car. Steven Seagal plays Orrin Boyd, who is a cop. Did not see that coming.
God bless you and thank you.
He just loves pissing me off.
Right? That's just what he does. What is it for you? For me, it's the all black all the time and the gallon of pomade and a slicked back coif. I mean, it's not anything that should affect me personally, but it just bothers me so gosh darn much. And also, we are continuing the grand tradition of amazing character actors in Seagal movies. You've got Bruce McGill and Bill Duke in the same scene. Just dynamite. And the vice president's motorcade leaves and two fake cops plant a bomb on the cars, and the most obvious ambush is underway. But the cops and the Secret Service are too dumb to see it, and the only one with the mental fortitude to decipher the clues is Orrin Boyd.
Sorry, the bridge is closed until a VP gets across.
Excuse me!
So Boyd commandeers the bad guy's box truck and he takes off across the bridge. Cut. Steven, why are you wearing the assassin's hat? Because it'll be funny. I feel like Orrin is a silly little goofball sometimes. Boyd, that might have been a real cop. You did nothing to double check. And Boyd tells the vice president to come with him and then proceeds to down the enemy helicopter single-handedly. But then the only way off the bridge is to jump. And now, be careful, Boyd. That looks pretty shallow. So whatever you do, don't chuck the vice president over the railing head first. He chucked him head first. You know, the fake cops also had badges, so that should mean nothing to them. And also, these guys just saw you flip the vice president into the river. Nothing you've done so far would make me think that you were a good guy. Because out of everybody on this bridge, you came the closest to actually killing the vice president. And so the second most powerful person in the country was almost murdered, and everyone treats it like just an embarrassing thing that happened to him. Like he misspelled potato or something. Oh, why'd you have to make it political? Go to hell, you woke son of a bitch! I came here to get away from politics. And like, I'm sure the cold open for SNL that week had Will Ferrell as the vice president, and he would just keep falling into different bodies of water. The pacing for the sketch would have been atrocious, and it also would have been 8.5 minutes long. And Fred Thompson would make a cameo, and he would get to say live from New York a Saturday night. So in standard action movie fashion, Boyd gets chewed out by his boss, Frank Daniels, for being a loose cannon. Your reckless actions cost the city $8 million. The mayor's gonna have my ass.
I saved his life, Frank.
What? I couldn't hear any of that. Anyways, your ego's writing checks your butt can't cash. The mayor wants your badge.
I didn't vote for him anyway.
Seriously, what? And like at my job, if I almost got the vice president killed and I got yelled at by my boss, I would not talk back. I'd just be like, yes, this is justified. I really crossed the line here. So they bust Boyd down to the 15th precinct, which is the worst precinct in the city. And now any Seagal character, he's all about showing dominance over others. And so now this would be the perfect opportunity for the all-black suit to really show that you mean business, which is why it's weird that he's dressed like he's going apple picking. And he's walking like he slipped on a rotten apple whilst apple picking.
Can I help you?
You looking for the ringleader of this circus?
Yes, sir.
He's the tough as nails cop who plays by his own rules. And he just found out his new commander is a woman? How is he gonna navigate this? Tune in to UPN this Friday for a very special Orin and the Gang. So the commander of Precinct 15 is a tough-as-nails ball-buster named Mulcahy, and she sends Boyd to Rageaholics.
I'm a happy guy. You see this face? This is a happy face.
Unfortunately, his headshots that showcase his acting range do in fact show that face as his happy face. And after class, Boyd notices thugs trying to steal his car, and we are really starting to see the slowdown of Seagal here. Like very carefully choreographed fight sequences that seem set up to reduce how much Seagal is required to move. And whatever that is. And so Boyd notices a drug deal involving Latrell Walker, played by DMX, and his partner TK, played by Anthony Anderson. And he busts it up only to find that it was an undercover operation headed by Montini. And so Boyd gets dropped even further down the food chain and is now a traffic cop.
Come on! Where's a cop when you need one? Get up here!
And like, if you've done the shit that Boyd has done, and then they make you a traffic cop, and then you cause just absolute gridlock and mayhem, how are you ever showing your face around that place ever again? Like, people will just be clowning on him all the time because he sucks so much at his job. And after his shift, he gets challenged to a tase-off by Useldinger. And if this dude looks familiar, it's because he played Chongo in Detroit Rock City, which is never streaming anywhere, ever. Which sucks, that movie's awesome. So they goad Boyd into getting tased, and fun fact, this was moments before Seagal would go on to shit himself for the second time on a movie set. And it gets broken up by veteran cop Louis Strutt, played by Michael Jai White. Motherfucking Spawn is in this movie. But Boyd feels like something doesn't add up with the drug bust, and so Nancy Drew over here begins his own investigation, which leads him to Piper Tech.
I'd like to see if you could run a check for me. All I have is a name, Latrell Black.
What does this look like? The Hall of Records? Check records downtown at Piper Tech.
Like this. This is how everyone should be talking to Boyd. And at Piper Tech, he finds a janitor and his 2 children tied up.
I'm the janitor. My daughter, Maria, she's in the office.
Don't worry, my friend. I'll make sure Maria pays for what she did to you. What? No, Maria didn't do this. Shh. Let me handle Maria. And so Boyd finds Maria, and before he can shoot her dead, they get shot at by the real bad guys, and the SWAT team shows up. The Piper Tech property vault was hit by 6 armed bad guys, and they made off with 50 kilos of heroin. And Boyd then gets partnered up with George Clark, played by Isaiah Washington.
I mean, you know, you're like a legend, man.
Of course he's a legend. He's a Steven Seagal character. Tales of his exploits will have been told far and wide.
Did you really beat a suspect unconscious with a dead cat?
Yep, he sounds like a legend. Like, if someone at your work knocked someone out with a dead cat, you would never stop talking about how much that dude sucks. So they go to TK's nightclub, and we have entered the fun with wires portion of the stunt spectacular. Just call him Cirque du Seagal. And you know, it would really suck to have to share a scene with Steven Seagal, but it would be an absolute nightmare to have a scene where he grabs you, because you just know he's the type of dude that would take it too far.
Steven, you're choking me.
And at this point, 98% of Seagal's fights are done by stunt doubles, and the only move that Seagal still seems to be able to perform is this weird hand maneuver. And like, he does it in every movie.
I remember you.
And I'm sure it might be effective, like if you just did it on one of your coworkers when he wasn't expecting it. But unfortunately, the weird hand thing is not enough to keep Walker and TK from escaping. And Boyd searches TK's office, and he finds that Walker visited someone named Sean Rollins in prison 2 days before 9/11. Like, oh my God, that was like yesterday. Is 9/11 going to happen tomorrow? And so we learn that Latrell Walker is not a drug dealer, but a computer genius billionaire named Leon Rollins. And Sean is his brother who was set up and sent to prison. And Leon is doing his own sting operation because Montini and Useldinger are corrupt cops, and their drug operation is ran by Sergeant Strutt.
Greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convince the world he didn't exist.
Who clearly just watched The Usual Suspects last night.
These t-shirts are dipped in a heroin solution and dried under these lamps. They're folded and sealed in shrink wrap. Dogs can't even smell it. You can send them anywhere you want. extract the heroin later.
Now, I'm from the Midwest. Believe me when I tell you that nothing will get you more f***ed up than sucking heroin from a shirt. And so Leon and his friend Trish have been videotaping the activities of Strut's gang, hoping that it might help prove Sean's innocence and get him out of jail. And Trish is played by Eva Mendes, and in just the funniest and dumbest turn of events, all of Eva Mendes's lines were dubbed over.
Good memory. See, we've been tracking their activity for months. Now I'm compiling the surveillance video on our digital editing system. Check it out. This is all our stuff. This is a little camera that can be hidden everywhere.
And they did this because they didn't think Eva Mendes sounded smart enough. They do know who's starring in this movie, right? Why is his voice intact? They should have dubbed him over with like Hugh Grant or some shit. Yes, I'm terribly sorry about throwing the vice president overboard. I can tell it probably put you in a spot of bother. So Boyd calls his former commanding officer for help, and Boyd and Clark go to take down the crooked cops.
Listen, man, you'll get your money. You gotta be sensitive to my situation.
Fuck this, man. Half's better than nothing.
Half's better than nothing? What the hell kind of drug dealer are you?
Escaped so many traps. Should be wearing a cape. I thought you said you had this animal on a leash.
So we learned that Montini was in on it, and then we learned that Useldinger was in on it, and then we learned that Strut was in on it, and now we learned that Frank Daniels is in on it too. And a shootout commences, and Useldinger and Daniels get gunned down, and Montini gets impaled. And Boyd and Strut get into a sword fight with those giant cutter blades from art class, because Strut also just got done watching The Faculty. He's a big movie buff. And so Strut jumps on the ladder of a helicopter, and Boyd attaches the ladder to a pipe because Boyd just watched Cliffhanger. And since this is the re-release version of Exit Wounds, they were able to add Eva Mendes' real voice at the end.
Thanks a million! You're the swellest! That's your voice?